bellow on the bellow on the bellow. Bellow on the bellow on the bellow.
Yeah. The Real Shop Talk. Just come and take a listen. Some grown men with unbiased and honest opinions, and with no agendas, so you just gotta check it. Talking love and life from a male perspective. We keep it authentic, real, no filter. Leave a comment, be part of the show. We here to give you 5 gentlemen's views about manhood, no doubt. This the show you've been needing, yeah, it's the Real Shop Talk. Let's go.
Look, we are here to join in and have a conversation. I think you missed that whole intro. I am Gunterman, one of the 4 guys of the Real Shop Talk. Yes, in the screen, just a few minutes, Tony Watts will come and join me. But of course, Tony Massey, as well as John Singletary, they're going to join me in a few. Well, no, they're not going to join me in a few. They're not. They have stuff to do. Yes, but they're always a part of me. Now, keep in mind, it's 4 of us. It's 4 guys of the Real Shop Talk, always letting our thoughts and opinions and our hearts to those who really want to crave what's going on inside the minds of men. That's right. People want to know. And we also want to create a place and space where men can come to be vulnerable, to share their thoughts, to share their concerns, and not get beat up for it. We feel the same thing women feel. We feel the same thing women feel, but we don't have a platform, nor has culture shaped us to share these feelings or to speak out loud or to do something with these feelings. It's almost like we men only have happiness, sad, and anger. That's it. That's our choices. So to actually connect with people and hear different sides of views and perspectives, it allows us to shape our emotions fuller than just those typical 3 things to pull from. So tonight, we're going to talk about why I want to get married. Now, why I want to get married is a vast subject. I mean, you can take it in so many different directions. But before I go into that, I want to make sure that you guys will take some time out to go on our YouTube channel and hit like and subscribe and ring that bell. Hit that bell so every time the Real Shop Talk goes live at 8 Eastern Standard Time on Monday nights, that you'll be notified and you can join us. And of course, you guys know, I see you in the comments right there. The comments are already starting to come in. You are part of this conversation. The comments that you make, we'll read them. A lot of times we'll kind of springboard off of the things that matter to you because you are a part of this. See, it's not only 4 guys from different walks of life and different places and spaces and energies. We're also community. We're building a community of people and supporters. So as I'm on other people's shows, other people are on this show, and we are building something where we can speak freely about all the different things that are going on inside our hearts and mind. Like I said, John Singletary won't be here this evening. I believe he won't get back until maybe September. But this gentleman, he's an author. He wrote the book, Boom, The Journey. You want to take time out to look that up. He's also the host of the Help Myself podcast. John Singletary is a 23-year vet. That's right. Working in the military, being a part of it. He just retired this year. So we want to give you a shout out and mad love to you, John Singletary. We look forward to you joining us back in September, soon coming up in September. And of course, the next guy, Tony Massey, who's normally the leader of the ship. He's the one doing what I'm doing today. Tony Massey, from Tony Massey Cooks to Tony Massey Speaks, now Tony Massey Photos, and he's also a writer, a director. He is also an author of amazing books, guys. This book right here gave me a new start. So if you're into reading books about how to lift yourself up, how to move forward more effectively, this is the guy. These are the guys you want to kind of rub shoulders with. Like the journey is like a faith-based book. This book is like filled with devotionals and quotes from the Bible. It kind of gives you an amazing journey on how to live more for God and how to effectively take on situations in life. I see Tony Watts is about to join me, but maybe he's not on screen yet. Let me see if I could just add his bubble, just so I can have a little bubble company up there. Let me switch over to this. I see you, Tony Watts. What's up, bro?
What's up, bro? I'm like 20 minutes out from the house, so I decided to join you.
Excellent. Well. Before we get into the show part of it, tell a little people about yourself. Triumphant TV. Go on. Tell us a little about yourself.
Okay, so I'm Tony Agent Watts. Sorry about that. Owner of Triumphant TV, Triumphant Media Group. We do things. We talk to people about that are doing extraordinary things, like the stuff that Rick was just talking about. We interview people like John that are not John, that are outside of our circle, that are really making an impact in the world that most people don't get to see because they're not skyrocketing out there yet. We also talk about mental health from a trauma aspect to really let you know that some of the things that you're dealing with are deeper issues than you think they are. So we also plan a blueprint for that as well. But tonight we're going to talk about this whole marriage thing and see how it works out.
Yeah, man. So I want to get married. Where does your mind go? As people in the comments, where does your mind go when you first think about why do you want to get married? What are the benefits? I know when you stop and you look over where America is right now when it comes to marriage, they're almost set. They're saying whether you're a Christian or not, believer or not, marriage divorce rate is still almost close to 50%, 50-50. Like you're taking a chance when you're getting married. But why do it? I think oftentimes the reason why marriages don't work out, and I'm speaking from experience in regarding that, is because we lack this ability to stick to our truth. We have this hard task of holding fast to things that matter to us and not being unwilling to give them up. Meaning that so often when we find ourselves having feelings for another person, we will let go of these values, these things that we hold precious in order to get what we think we want from the other person. Now, when I'm talking about a real connection, you really want that, because this show's not about guys who are trying to hit it and quit it and keep on moving and stuff. No, this show's about people who want to actually build real relationships. So what we do is that in relationships, we have to literally fight for the things that we believe is right for us and stand up for it. Now, when I say stand up for it, and that's not like being mean or arrogant with your feelings. It's getting to the place and space in your life where you're living in a place of joy, where you're living in a place of peace, where you're living from a place of real, genuine love for yourself. So when you connect with another person, you're not looking to get that from another person. You're not looking for another person to be your joy. You're not looking for the other person to be your peace. You're not looking for that person to be your source of love. See, when you join forces with someone, you want the opportunity to reveal these things, these places, these feelings that you have for your own life, this level of happiness and fire for passion, fire and passion for life, that you just want this opportunity to share it with someone else, to draw and to allow someone to come near to you and watch your journey, to live in a way where there's no shame in the things that you're learning to take on. And there's a real feeling of excitement to learn something new. And oftentimes, the reason why we end up in the place of divorce is because what? Somewhere along the line, we settled for something that wasn't right for us. Somewhere along the line, we let go of the things we truly value with the hopes to really just get what we have right now. We settled for the temporary instead of settling and going for the thing that's long lasting. Going for the thing that's long lasting is going to allow you to see that the truth of what lives inside you be manifested. But the truth is, as you get older in life, you wonder if it's going to happen. Can I actually find love? Will I be able to trust this person? Will I be able to feel the way I felt back in my younger years when I found that person for the first time, when I found love for the first time? These questions are very real. So the question now becomes, can you stick to living your truth when it comes to relationships? Can you stick to living your truth? Can you? Because that's the hard question. Because if you can stick to living your truth, what are the benefits? You're actually going to get to see some of the things that are truer and realer to you be fully manifested. And two, you're going to be able to nurture. And this is the power of love. It's nurturing another person into new possibilities. Nurturing another person into new possibilities. And when I say new possibilities, it's new possibilities for them and new possibilities for you. Because all the things that you've been through in the past, a lot of times are based off of some type of fear, insecurity, or you just simply thinking that it's going to get better in time. And if you're still single at whatever age you are, it didn't work out. So here's an opportunity to jump in and believe and actually trust in your inner instincts. When you get that gut check, that feeling, that tug in your heart that says, this thing said or this thing done doesn't feel right. Doesn't feel right to me. Am I willing to at least have a conversation about it? Am I willing to at least have a conversation about it? And if you have a conversation about it, would you be open and kind in your response, which is oftentimes, a lot of times, hard to do at times? Are you going to be kind in your response to allow the person to speak their mind freely? So often when we think about relationships, we want to assume that we know what the other person is going to want. Or we actually assume if we do all the right things and come correct, that after a while, the person is just going to know exactly what's right for us. No on both regards. No, you can't speak for the other person because you don't know what the person is feeling, nor the person is thinking. And two, as for you got to understand, you are not the other person. So whether you feel it, whether you think it, or whether you're living it in a particular moment, no one can always guess at where you are in your life, in your mindset. No one can guess at, oh, he's looking at that. Oh, he's thinking about this. Oh, no. You have to speak out loud the things that matter to you. You have to believe that if you want the person to connect with you, that you're going to have to say these things out loud to somebody, that you're going to have to share your heart and share your thoughts in a way that the other person could understand it. And that only comes with spending time, being patient, being kind, allowing there to be a forum for people to freely share. And a lot of times in relationships, especially for us guys, we're not that good at that. Because when we get to a place and space of something that we don't understand, our knee-jerk response for so many of us is to get angry. But anger is not all we have access to. Getting angry is the response to things that we might not know how to deal with. But there's more to it. And see, when you think about marriage, what you're doing, you're tying yourself to another person, me being of the Christian faith, tying yourself to a woman who's going to allow you to see another perspective to life, another avenues and angles and ways of being and ways of feeling. You're going to learn these things as you dare to share your heart, hoping that she doesn't trample on it, but with the excitement that if you finally dare to share, that better things will come your way. So Tony Watts, what are your thoughts when you think about initially why I want to get married?
Well, just to piggyback off some of the things you said, I think you hit on a lot of great points, but I think what you missed was people are not like ready to be wrong. They're not ready to work through their wrongs. They're not ready to grow outside of who they are currently. Like, because the person that you marry, they're supposed to help you see your blind spots. They're supposed to help you see the things that you can't see. And if they pull your coattail and be like, hey, babe, I'm just using this as an example, you know, your feet are ashy. You need to do something with it. You can't be all mad about that, like, no, my feet's always like this. You know, I use this lotion. No, take that in consideration and be like, okay, what do you think I should do to be better? Like, I don't think people are really ready for that type of that part of marriage, and I don't think it's taught. I really, you know, at this point in my life, I think that a lot of people should when you're getting married, I think you should go for
counseling.
Yeah, it should be like like in church, you go before maybe a minister or a person in church that talks about marriage, and you know, you go over, you know, why are you getting married? And they're able to listen to you like, wait, so if he changes this, will you still love him? Or if she changes that, will you still love her? Like, because what we think is the person that we're marrying is going to be the same person the rest of their lives. They're not. They are not. They're going to change and grow. You're going to change and grow. And some of the times that's going to be very difficult, right? So you have to be able to love the person through that. And I don't think a lot of people are ready for that reality, because all we hear now is, I had to leave because it wasn't for me. Why? Did you do the work? What wasn't for you? What did you get triggered by something that you haven't let go of? Like, what was it? Like, I'm not talking about if there's abuse and stuff like that. You know, that's a whole different ball game. But if there's just little things that somebody's doing that, you know, grinds your nerves, why does it grind your nerves? Right? Because if you don't figure that out and you go into the next relationship, that person's going to do something to grind. We really got to, I think what really needs to happen, I think people really need to be talking to people who are married, right, and have been doing it for a long time. Because when you talk to real marriages, they are happy, but issues, they don't get along sometimes. Sometimes they want to kill each other, but they have a vision of what the marriage is going to be and what they're fighting for, right? If you get into a marriage, you don't know what the vision is and what you're fighting for, every little thing is going to throw you off your guard. So I just wanted to add that to what you were saying, because everything you were saying was on point, but I don't think people are ready to sacrifice who they are, right, for who they can grow to be, right? I want to be clear when I say, I want to say that one more time. Sacrificing who you are, right, currently is, in my mindset, is a growth pattern. You're going to be better if you allow this person to show you, right, where your blind spots are. If they allow you to show them where their blind spots are. You guys can only grow. So if you're not willing to do that, if you need to be the same automatic person, you know, he bought roses every day and he hasn't bought roses in 6 months, and you want to leave because he didn't out the wives, then we have a problem. We have an absolute problem. So, you know, I'll land my plane there. But those are some of the things that we have to begin to deal with before we do this marriage thing.
Yeah, I love the idea of when you talk about the blind spots. You know, being able to get into a relationship with the hopes that your world and your scope and understanding about love and connection and succeeding is exponentially, you know, it has so much more possibilities available to you by connecting yourself with someone else.
Right.
Being able to be that real version of yourself, to see that better version of you being revealed, and part of being revealed is correction.
Yep.
Being corrected. You know, when the word talks about the Bible is filled with doctrine, reproof, and correction, 2/3 of it is about being corrected, reproof and correction. But the doctrine, the knowing what to do, is part of it. But the other 2/3 is being corrected. So you have to be comfortable with being checked on things. The other person is not you. And even though
Right,
you
you
may attempt to do things with a heart of gold, even though you're attempting to do things with a heart of gold, doesn't mean that the person on the other end of it is going to receive it with your intentions.
Absolutely. So what I wanted to add to that, you have to be comfortable being uncomfortable.
Absolutely.
You can't be uncomfortable if your ego is too big that you can't allow change. You can't argue. If you're not ready to argue to get dirty about this relationship, then don't get in a relationship. Because sometimes you got to get dirty. You got to get pigsty dirty to figure out what's going on. Sometimes you got to go to neutral corners and really sit with, why am I acting this way, or why does she trigger me that way? You got to really sit with that and figure it out, because we are so quick to blame the other person for the things that we haven't let go of yet, because we haven't figured it out yet. We've got to do that. You got to, like, I keep trying to tell people, marriage, that's a whole different ballgame, baby. That's work. That's absolute top to bottom down work. Every single day. There's like that whole fairy tale thing that people believe in. Oh, they live happily ever after. No, they didn't. No, they didn't. I don't know. I don't know one successful couple that are happily married for years. Even people who have lost their spouses, and when I sit down and talk to them, they will tell you they had problems. They will tell you they were uncomfortable with things. But in the long run, they worked it out. And what I really can't stand, and I'm sorry for going on a tangent right now that just popped in my head, is when I hear people say, "Oh, the older folk only stayed in it because they were miserable." You guys have no idea what you're talking about. It's such a small percentage of people who really dealt with things like that. When you start, like, I had a conversation with a woman who was a matriarch, 81 years old, and we talked about marriage and all that kind of things. And she told me, no, when my man was get out of hand, he had to put himself in line. Like, there were sacrifices that are made that we don't see, so we automatically assume in this new think we know it all generation that, oh, they were all miserable. No, they weren't. They worked it out. They worked through it. I forgot who it was. One of my friends, their father was an alcoholic, and the wife put him out. You can no longer be in this house, in this relationship with your current problem. Figure it out, then you can come back, because we keep trying to help you, and you don't want to do anything. He went away for 2 years, came back a triple better man, because he understood he had a good woman and what he was messing out on. So when people say the people back in that generation, they didn't know what they were doing and they just stayed because they were miserable, that percentage is very small. I'm not saying that it wasn't difficult. I'm not saying it wasn't hard. I'm not saying it wasn't chauvinistic men that felt that they needed to dominate and do all this other crazy stuff. But it's not as watched. There was more love and protection than we can possibly fathom. And what I also try to tell people is we have to have grace for that generation, because right now we have all access to, and using Rick's name, we have all access to mental health things. They didn't have that. They didn't have mental health people to go to, right? No, they had grandma, they had grandpa, they had an uncle that was stable, that could put one of them to the side and have a conversation with them. That's what they had. So we got to have grace for them because they didn't have the same information that we had. But I'm just trying to tell you, bottom line is, marriage is work. It's not easy. It's not a walk in the park. And I told one of my very good friends today, it's the most joyous thing that you could possibly have when you're doing it right.
Yeah. It makes me think of a quote that says there is no growth without discomfort.
Right. None.
But you could also take the word discomfort out and say pain. There is no growth without pain. There are no relationships that will be all rainbows and butterflies for a
Can't
long
work.
period of time.
Can't
There's
work.
going to be
Can't work.
there's going to be disappointments. There's going to be offenses. There's going to be wrong things being said. There's going to be filled with takebacks. There's going to be filled with apologies. There's going to be filled with forgivenesses.
Yep.
That's what a real relationship is. That's what it is. You're just
what it
dealing with two people who are unwilling to let go of the vision of being one, staying
Right.
one flesh.
Right.
But there is no always happy relationship. No, it takes work. So as you said in the Disney movies, there's happily ever after, and that's where the movie cuts off because that's where the work begins.
The work
That's
began.
where the work begins. They don't want to show you the work. They don't want to show you the work, but they need to keep the story going and start teaching this younger generation. And well, it's for us to learn too, because I'm still learning. I am still learning
Yeah.
that it's going to take things being said that's going to hurt your heart. But do you always have to respond with this grandioso type of response? Can you actually get to the place where you're living in a place of joy, peace, and love, where the that gesture that offends you will still cause you to respond in kindness?
Right.
Not always easy, but you know what? You get the most bang for your buck when you do so. You get the most bang for your buck because once again, you're allowing the other person, by your kind response, to then continue explaining why they feel the way they feel. And at times, that's the harder thing to do for the person. They're expecting you to get angry. They're expecting you to blow up. They're expecting you to feel pissed or hurt by the words, the truth that they're telling us. But if you respond with kindness, now you can simply say, tell me more.
They expect you not to have grace.
Yeah. You know, I like this quote that I'm going to see if I can do it right. I'm going to pop up this quote by Love Tucker. I think people often meet someone and try to fit them into the idea they believe what marriage is.
Yep.
You know,
that's truism.
Yeah, you know, we have been through relationships, and we have picked and chose the bits and pieces that we liked in relationships, and we think that when we get those bits and pieces from one person, that's where love is. And that's wrong. That's absolutely that's not love is not found in the bits and pieces of what you think worked for you being revealed in another person. It's part of it. It's part of it. You know, that common saying that opposites attract. No, the opposite part is just the spiciness in a relationship. The more you have in common with a person is what's going to prove to you that this situation is going to last. You can't connect yourself with someone that you do not have a lot of things in common and expect it to work, because both parties will be denying some portion of their life over and over again. And do we hold it against ourselves for choosing these things, or do we hold it against the other person for putting us in the position that we can't finally at one day, sooner or later, get to do these things that we want to do? No, we will blame the other person. We will constantly blame the other person for these situations because we can't see that though we're good people, we're not always going to do things correctly. We're not always going to respond the best way. We're not always going to have the right thoughts and perspectives on a given situation. Or the worst part of it is when we assume we know what the other person is thinking. Woo! Feeling. Woo! That's a hard one.
I know what you was gonna say. I know what you was gonna say. You have no idea what I was gonna say. Retard craziness.
But it's what we do. It's what we do. We think if we spend enough time with someone, we're gonna know what they're feeling and thinking. And a lot of times you're talking years under the belt to get at least a rhythm of, okay, that's the way they're kind of moving. So it kind of leads to them typically doing that. And that takes time, and that's you paying attention. But a lot of times the best thing to do is ask. Why do you do the things you do? Why did you say the things you said? And sit back and let them explain. That's what you got to do. You have to allow yourself the opportunity or set up an environment that allows the other person that you want to connect yourself with the floor to say and feel without being cast down or made to feel negative or shut down. You don't want the person that you're in love with to shut down or to be in fear of that response being always a negative one. That's the cool thing about relationships. There is so much to learn. There's so much to learn. When you are endeavoring to take that love, joy, and peace and spread it further by connecting yourself to someone else and allowing them to build that up, to show you different avenues and aspects of what love is greater than what we know. See, if a circle, in this particular circle, was all the knowledge in the world, if you were to split it in half and then split it into quarters, the top quarter will be the things that you know in life, the things that you know that you know. Down in the other quarter of the life will be the things that you know that you don't know. But on that other half, that other slice is filled with things that you don't even know that you don't know it. And that's where your partner in crime exists. They exist in a place and space where either you know that you don't know it, but they may, or they know things that you had no idea even existed. That's what friends are for. When you hold a situation to yourself and don't reveal that what you're going through, you're denying yourself an opportunity to hear other perspectives on that same situation that may free you from what you're feeling or what you're thinking, or thinking that's the only thing that's available. No, you only know a sliver of information that's out there in the world today. So you're supposed to say, let me say what's on my mind. Let me share. Let me keep setting up an environment that allows the other person to do the same. Because that's where love is. That's where it's found. That's where that real growth is. And is it going to be smooth at all times? No, I'm telling you right now, no. If you think that you're going to get into a relationship and it's going to be all rainbows and butterflies throughout the whole entire relationship, and if it's not right for you, you're wrong. It takes work. It takes disagreements. It takes takebacks. It takes asking for forgiveness. It's finding the places and spaces in the relationship where you know that you played a part in the dismantling of a thing, in the negative moment of a thing, and finding it and owning it. Because what's the benefit of owning the things that you know you did wrong in a situation? What's the benefit? The benefit is this. When you stop and you look back at past relationships and you look at the things that you allowed to take place in your life, you allowed particular things to remain in your presence when you know it wasn't right for you. And then the relationship ended and it was horrible because you kept allowing things that you know that wasn't right for you. But now if you take ownership, meaning that if I allowed those things or if I did some wrong in that thing, if you can own it, now you can say, well, if my bad decisions and me allowing particular things that wasn't right for me caused me to get all that negativity, me choosing the better thing for me, the right thing for me, not allowing these particular things will cause me to get the right thing for me, will get the better thing for me. See, sometimes we get so caught up on hoping that the other person changes, but it's not really the change that we're hoping for. What we're really hoping for is the things that we're willing to let go, the things that they are willing to let go to be with you. It's the letting go is where you grow. See, there is no growth without letting go. You understand that? In order for you to grow and to come to some understanding about a thing, that means there's some new truth that you got. That means some old truth you let go. Did you catch that? If you receive them new truth and a new way of seeing a thing, that means there is an old truth that you let go. It's the natural thing. So you're not looking for the person to change. Sometimes it's simply letting go of that which is familiar to you, letting go of that which is comfortable for you. You know, when you talk about types, oh, I got my type is this, and this, and this, but you're still single right now. Is your type really what you want? You have to take your wants and squeeze them down to what I call the five things that you feel that you absolutely need to be in a successful relationship. And that relationship is not simply with a lover. That's with your close friends. That's with your connection with your kids. That's with your connection with your family. That for you to continue to feel built up and trust and to grow with them, there's 5 typical things that you could hold fast to and run with. But when I when I sit and speak to my clients like myself, I came up with like 18 things that I feel that I need from another person for me to feel so connected to them. But you knock down all those things and you find out some of just the simple 5 things: reliability, accountability, trust. See, you often will sometimes stick in the word honesty. I want someone that's honest. But come on, that's a hard one, because the word of God always says that people lie. You have a long conversation with someone. Say you have a long extended, an hour-long, 2-hour-long conversation. Somewhere along that conversation, you didn't tell the truth. Somewhere along the line, you exaggerated, you embellished. Yeah, you don't tell the truth. See, honesty you may want because it sounds good. But what do you do when you lie about situations? Because you're going to lie. You're going to lie. That person's going to lie and you're going to lie. So is it honesty you're really seeking, or is it consistency? Is it consistency? Is it consistency where they consistently prove to you by their actions, not so much their words, that you can trust them, that you can rely on them, that they can hold you accountable for you living up to the things that you say you want to do with your life? See, for me, the greatest thing about being married or wanting to be married is to be able to have someone to journey with, someone that I can actually show parts of my life and ask for help in other areas of my life to reach this goal, whether it's a dream or whether it's my calling or whether it's losing weight. Whatever the case, a goal, a purpose, a dream, it's your calling. These things are achievable more so with people. You hear me time and time again on this show for the whole entire first season. There are no self-made millionaires. Everyone needs someone to succeed. Everyone needs someone to succeed. So when you join yourself with someone else, you are giving yourself this amazing opportunity to actually hold fast to the things that you dream of, to get that person to point out your blind spots because they're watching. They're watching and they can say, but didn't you say you're going to do that? But why are you putting that in your mouth? Why you say you're going to do? Wait, but when was the last? I didn't see you go to your journal this week. You say you're writing a book, right? Having someone in your life, it's where marriage is the great revealer. That's what it is. Marriage is the great revealer. And if you're at the place where you really want to accomplish great things, you want that in your life. You want someone to push that little procrastination button in you and say, get off your butt and keep on moving. Now, are you having a problem with that? Let's do it together then. And then, of course, you lending your life to their lives. Because when you think about successes and the greatness of your life, it isn't what you achieve for yourself. It isn't found in that. It's found in what you allow and what you have lent bits and pieces of your life for someone else to succeed, for someone else to live their dream. Having a partner, being married is like the greatest force against the world. It's the greatest force that God uses against the world, against the adversary. Having 2 by 2, traveling 2 by 2. 2 are better than 1. The word of God always talks about. Two are better than one. Being able to have someone standing back to back or shoulder to shoulder, depending on what the task is. Someone that you are willing to prove to them that I am here no matter what. And that takes time. Sometimes that takes rough lessons in the beginning. Sometimes that's going back and saying, yeah, I gave up too quick, but it's not really what I wanted. Sometimes it's you going back and saying, can you forgive me? Sometimes it's like, dang, I messed up. Can I have your forgiveness? Not simply sorry, not simply I'm sorry, but can you forgive me? You know, these are the things that so often by our ego and pride, we don't want to do and we expect to succeed. No, you got to let that stuff go. When you get past 30, 35 years old, those things that concerned you as a little 12, 20-year-old, a teenager, that stuff starts to wane. That starts to drop off because when you're young, youth has you believing that you're going to live forever. You get to 35, things are starting to tighten up a little. Because if the average person lives to what? 73? The average person lives to about 73. So what's half of that? What's half of that? What is half of that? When you get to that mark, you may say, okay, 50, I'm at the halfway mark. No, 50, because that's a round number. 50, you think 100. No, typically people don't live to 100. You live to around 70 something, the average person. So when you're at 35, now you better start developing different perspectives. You better start thinking like, oh, I don't want to do this alone, because you found in all those young years that you need someone. And even if you didn't see it fully in relationships, you saw it in business. If you succeeded in business, you had to get help. You had to be told about a particular thing, to learn about that for taxes and that for owning a business. And that allows you to have the most increase. And that allows you to cut back on the things that don't really matter. That you have to learn that from people. So having someone, being married to someone, affords you that every day. Now, some people say every day. Oh God, every day. Some people say, that cultural saying, oh, if you want someone to tell you what to do all day long, let you know that you're wrong about a thing, and they'll highlight all the negative things, and that's what you get married for. No, marriage is this really amazing connection. It's a lending of your life to something greater than just you trying to achieve your own goals. It's building a unit, a team, where you can go out and venture and have a wider scope of understanding about things because you have someone to run your thoughts through. Imagine every single day if you had a prayer partner, for those who believe. If you had a prayer partner and you started every single day talking about with your partner in prayer about the things that you'll be taking on in the day. And then at the end of sharing what you're going to take on a day, then you pray about it. So now they're in tune with what you're doing throughout the day. You're in tune with what they're doing throughout the day. So as you're taking on the day, you're getting those check-ins. Hey, what's up with that? How did that go? Celebration time, because if something good happens to you and no one knows, who could rejoice with you? Is it really a good thing if you have no one rejoicing with you? Think about it. No one rejoicing with you because no one knows your story. To be able to share your life and to give these details to allow them to help you through situations, to have them either be your pusher or puller. You pull you forward or push you back from stopping doing something dumb, because they see another angle that you don't see. It's a great time saver when you have two, because you both can talk about situations. And then, of course, you make a decision. And you both together will say, okay, well, let's see how this turns out. Not when it turns out horribly. Oh, I told you so, and blah, 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 and blah, blah. No. Will that happen sometimes? Yes. Yes, because we want what we want. And when we don't listen to our partner, when we don't listen to our inner, that intuition that's tugging at us, we're gonna make mistakes. We are. We're gonna choose the wrong thing for all the wrong reasons. We're gonna have those situations. But the question is tonight, why I want to get married. I want to succeed. I want to succeed. I want to succeed in relationships. I want to succeed in capturing my dreams. I want a partner to help me see the better version of me. When I'm feeling low, I want someone that has been around me to say, hey, you did this before. You did that before. This isn't different. This isn't any different than that. What's up with your confidence here? What are you thinking? What are you feeling? And then, of course, the greatest gift is you being able to do it for them too. Being able to spot the things that's going on in their life and then have a conversation about it. And in the midst of helping them, you're still helping you. Because the more you learn about what is true and what is right and what is better for them, it's giving you insight. We often talk about, when it comes to relationships, the love languages. And we get caught up at times pouring ourselves out for a particular love language that says, well, I'm showing you love, but my love language, I'm loving you because my love language is acts of service. So I'm loving you with acts of service. But for you, your love language is words of affirmation. So I'm showing you love the way I love, but you're not receiving it with the same passion because your words of affirmation, your love language is words of affirmation or physical touch or quality time or gift giving. These things matter to you. So you have to have these conversations and you got to watch your partner and see how they respond. And sometimes just simply ask the question or take the test, take the love language test and find out what do you believe is right for you? Based on how you grew up and what you experienced, you have a preference. All 5 will bless you. All 5 of the love languages will bless you. But there's one that stands out above the rest. And sometimes there's 2 that's at the very top and other things are way down. So the question is, are you willing to ask? Because being married will allow you to have someone in your face asking you those questions. And you want it. You want it because it's going to allow you to be the better version of yourself. You're going to want to hear the things that they see, whether it makes you uncomfortable when you hear it or not. You're going to want to hear it because the better version of you is what you truly desire. It is. It really is. So the question is to those who are out there in the comments, why do you want to get married? What is it about marriage that gets you excited, hoping for something so much bigger than what you're living in right now? Why? I could only imagine what Tony Massey would have to say because he's the married guy in the group. And he can walk you through these journeys of what him and his wife have gone through and the things that he had to deal with, the things that she had to deal with, the things that they took on and they had to work through and the grace, the constant grace that was there. John Singletary, that's my man, full of energy and he wants love also and connecting and having these feelings, that all these things he feels inside being lived and shared with someone. Tony Watts transitioning and hungering to better understand human relationships and culture. And now he has lent his life with Triumphant TV to build his scope even greater because he wants to know how to do it correctly. For myself, I got into this relationship life coaching thing a little bit more than 3 or 4 years now, going on maybe 4 years now. But 13 years ago, I went through a divorce and it made no sense to me. How can I be successful in business? How can I have such a connection with my mom and dad and my sisters and my nieces and nephews and not do well in marriage? It made no sense to me. So I went back and I put in the work. I went back and I read books. See, When you want to level up, you can't go to your typical sources for answers. You have to find sources outside of your normal sources to get that level up. You understand what I'm saying? Meaning that all the people in your life that have been a part of your life, all your normal means of gathering and getting information, all the things that you have seen and read has made you you. The best version of you is based off of those people and those experiences and those things read and seen. Now, in order for you to level up, you now have to go outside of that comfort zone, outside of that norm, that no, these are the people I share with, nope, and go to someone else. And that's why I recommend to everyone out there, if you plan on being serious about relationships, find a counselor, find a therapist, find a life coach, and just talk things out loud about what you feel about relationships. Because the most important relationship that you will ever have is the one with yourself. And the one with yourself shapes all your other relationships. Let me see what was here. Let me see. I got some comments here. Oh, another one from Love Tucker. You're the best. She writes, I want to share and show my love. Oh, and express it to someone who will appreciate it. We all want to be appreciated. Stop and think about that. You know, you will get into relationships and you will give what you believe is the very best of you. I'm talking not a guy who's playing games, not a girl that's playing games. I'm talking you want love. You want a real connection. And the person that you're with may not receive all the things that you do at the same level that you give. Now, that doesn't make them a bad person. It just means they're not you. So when you share of your heart, when you give of yourself fully, you have to keep in mind that that other person may not be at the same place and space in their thinking. So you could be hype and full of energy about a particular thing, so you do a thing, but that doesn't mean that they're right there with you. That's why you observe. That's why you pay attention. That's why you what? You speak about the things you feel. You feel a little discomfort and maybe the way they responded, then you allow them to share what were they thinking. Because when that love is in the air, you really want to care for each other. You really want to genuinely have someone rooting for you. You don't want to hurt their heart. You're not hoping to get them and put them in a place of discomfort and make them respond in a way that kind of throws you off. And no, you don't want any of that. You simply want to love and be loved in return. So the majority of times when there's fallouts, there's simply just miscommunications. But in the miscommunications, did you go too far? Did you say too much? Or did you just quit and not really give it a chance? These things, these relationship things take work. And in order for you to be appreciated, that means what? That means you're going to set situations up. Tony Watts is back in the house. That you're going to set situations up that's going to allow you the opportunity to share why you did the things you did, why you're excited about sharing it in this particular time, and then see if it piques their interest. See if they're also, oh, I didn't see that. Oh, now I see why you did that. Those aha moments are life-giving in relationships. Wanting to be appreciated is one thing, but setting up the other person to appreciate the things that you do is another thing. Because you're just assuming by you doing kind and wonderful things based on what you've been through, that it's going to be received that way. But no, it isn't. It isn't always going to be received that way. And it's not always going to be understood. You are not the other person. The other person isn't you. And if you can go into relationships holding fast to that one, a lot of arguments will be thwarted, will be cut short, because your response will be like, well, you're about to teach me something I didn't see. Tony Watts, what do you think about all this stuff?
Well, I didn't get a chance to catch all of it because I was having camera problems in the back. Can you hear me?
Yes, perfectly.
So I think you kind of hit on all the points of when you're married, right? Like how to navigate through those spaces, right? But let's talk about why we want to do this thing. Like, why this is important, why marriage works, right? Because I think that we live in a society now that, again, what I was saying earlier, we don't value the struggle, right? You tell people about struggle and they're like, oh, I ain't struggling with nobody. We want perfect. We want the perfect person to come into our lives that can read our minds and
don't lose your thought. Don't lose your thought, Tony. We think that real love is found without complications in the beginning.
Right.
That's what we think. We think that it's all supposed to run. Real love is supposed to run smooth. No.
Right. Exactly.
No.
Exactly. So one of the reasons why I would do it again, is because I said it earlier. I think it's one of the most beautiful things that we've been gifted to engage in, to travel this life with a partner, with somebody who's got your back, regardless of what goes down. To put it bluntly, I'm an a-hole. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and somebody's got to be able to deal with that. You know what I mean? Like, they've got to see, like, under all of that, I love her. You know what I mean? Like, my wife, I love you. Out of all my nonsense, I love you. And I didn't just to be able to see behind her stuff that, okay, that's flawed, but I love her. Now, how do we navigate this together to get to a place where we can grow? So for a man, if you do this, you do the research, men live longer married, right? Men live longer married. Single guys die early, but we don't want to have that conversation. A lot of people are right now in this in the manosphere world. They want maids, they want servants, they want, go home, be barefoot and, just tell, submission is do what I tell you to do. That's not submission, right? That's not submission. So we need to really begin to define the reasons why we want to get married. Marriage, it's when you find that partner, right, that you can laugh with, you can cry with, you can express yourself with on all points through this life, and even get mad with. There's nothing more extraordinary than that. Nothing more extraordinary than that. And I think that, again, we're not really ready to do the dirty work to make it work. You know what I mean? Because my mother and father were married for over 50-something years, right? That was the love of her life. And I know for a fact she was the love of his life. But I also know there was dirt. There were problems. There were situations. There was things that was there that this generation is not ready to deal with. Like they're not ready to navigate through. But when they were hard times, right? My mom was there. When he was in the hospital, when he had to go, my mom was there. When the one time that she was in the hospital for something, he was there, strong. You could see in his face that he was hurt, that his partner was down for the count, but he was there. You know what I mean? And you have to be able to understand what that looks like. And there's nothing like because you do a lot of talk about the Bible a lot here. So biblically it says, let two join, right? Two is better than one.
Yeah, you know what I mean? About that while you were away.
Right. So the two's better than one, the three chords, the bind. And we were built in communion. And we don't understand. We have become so selfish with this I don't give a damn attitude, and you gotta please me, and it's about my feelings and it's about how I feel, that we don't know how to we don't know how to love. We truly do not know how to love. Like Khalees and Jeremy, I love their relationship. I love their relationship. Right? They live it out loud. Tony
She's
and
here.
Sai.
She's here.
Oh, okay. Hey, sis. Tony and Sai. I love their relationship. They live it out loud. They live it right and out loud. Derek and his wife's relationship. Derek doesn't tell you the ills, but he loves his wife. He tells you how she nurtured him, how she got him to have certain thoughts to change that, right? That's that deep work that needs to happen. And people are not ready to have that. Oh, he out drinking and all the time. I just got to leave him. No. Won't you figure out why? What's the why? What's the problem? You know what I mean? So I think that we need to start. I think that what we really need to do, I think we need to start, and I'm having this, I think the 20-something, I'm having another conversation with married couples. I'm going to have a young married couple, a middle-aged married couple, and an older married couple, just to talk about what that looks like. Because marriage works, right? Marriage works until we can't communicate anymore. Once you take communication off the table, it's over. It's done. It is absolutely done. Because when you take communication off the table, now I'm inventing in my head what's wrong with you. Or I'm inventing stories that might not be true. So that builds up resentment. So when you go into resentment stage, you have a problem. Like you have only one thing you can do at that point is begin to separate. And when the resentments and the things that the realities you've created in your head get so big that you can't, once a person tells you something and you're not listening, right? You can't hear them, you're done. You're absolutely done. But we need to really, start championing people who are in this thing and having real strong relationships.
Yeah, life is supposed to be a lot more fun with someone. You could be passionate about being single and doing the things that you do without having a partner. But God set it up that way for a reason. For those who want to be married, you're called to be married. For those who don't want to be married, you're called not to be married. It's as simple as that. But for those who want to be married,
right,
man, oh man, to have that teammate,
that team,
that laugh, that help you to laugh at yourself.
Right, exactly.
To not take yourself so seriously in situations. But when you find yourself laughing at hardships, to also be asked the question, what's up with that?
Right.
Why are you laughing? Because that's not funny.
Right.
And that's the stuff you want to be able to uproot and figure out. See, so often, like I said, we're not at a place prior to being in a relationship. We're already happy with life. We're already filled with joy. We're already filled with self-love. And we're already operating from a place of we have practiced how to live our truth.
At least be in a space where you're doing the work. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, of course.
At least be in a space where you're doing the work. You don't have to be extraordinarily happy at the time, but at least be in a space where you're doing the work, that you can see that you can see like, yeah, I need to do better there. I need to do better. And champion it with the person you're trying to date. Yo, let's do this real quick. Let's answer some of these questions.
Go for it.
All right. So the first one was, according to you, what's the most important? What's more important in a marriage, love or respect?
For myself, I think about love.
Okay.
Because respect is a relative term. It's to the individual.
Right.
It's all about the individual. What she may call respect and what I may call respect is two different things.
Right.
The catch is love, because love allows the grace to be heard.
Yeah. For me, I think they go hand in hand, because if I respect you, I'm going to love you. Because if I don't have a respect for you, that means I might yes you to death. I might just be like, whatever. But that's not a pattern for success. Right, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, because
that's not a pattern for success.
I think love and respect go hand in hand. I think you have to have them both. I think you can't just because I know people who have love but have no respect. So like they might do things behind your back that are not. Oh,
Then
I
that's
love
not
him.
love. Then that's not love. See, there is love that you define as what
Right.
like there's the truth, and then there's truth. You
Right.
have your truths about what you think is right or wrong, but then you have the truth. What's
Right.
the absolute? And that's the catch. You say, okay, if you don't respect that person and you think that that you think that you could love someone that you don't respect, that doesn't really work.
Yeah.
That
But
doesn't
not
really
not to
work.
get in the weeds though. But if you
Go for it.
no, let's go because it'll turn into a whole different conversation. We'll just land that there and let's move on.
But share a little bit of it because it came to mind.
Because if you because we don't have that much time left anyway.
Oh yeah.
If you're I'm gonna use cheating, right? You can think you love, but if you're cheating, you don't have respect. You can come back home and do all the chores and do all the things that the home needs.
Yeah, but then you really don't. If you're cheating, then you don't really have love. You don't. You could sum it up however you see fit. Because you can't love a person more to at a higher level than you could love yourself. You may say I could do more for the person with the mindset that you're taking care of their needs, but you can't love a person at a higher level than you love yourself. You just can't. How you do one thing is how you do all things. So in this area, if you find yourself cheating in this area, you better believe that there's going to be a bunch of areas in your life where you're cheating. Now, you might be passionate about the person, you might care about the person, but love, you remove that off the table. You remove that off the table when you remove the respect. You remove that off the table when you stepping outside the boundary that you two have set up for each other. Because some people have that open relationship where they run out and then it's not called cheating anymore. It's what you arrange. It's what you organize. But you can't say that you love someone and you're doing those things and actually believe that this is what you do. You can say with your mouth, but it ain't the big L, it's the little L. Your opinion that it's love.
Okay, we'll leave it at that. But I have a lot to talk about that. It's a lot deeper than that for me, because I've seen it happen. So here's another question.
Go for it.
If you got married, what will change about your life?
The first thing that came to mind for me when you asked it was my level of success, my follow through,
right?
My ability to actually capture my dream, to live them, for them to come to mind, and then to have the teammate to help me achieve it.
Right.
To be brave enough to tell and ask for help to succeed. My level of success will be so much greater. And I'm out there doing it.
Yeah.
I'm out there doing it. I'm hitting those streets hard. I'm finding some new avenues, some new open doors and new achievements. So success is there, but I'm talking about success where I can rejoice and have someone rejoicing with me.
Yep. You nail that. You absolutely nail that, because I'm kind of on the same path, but not on the heights that you're talking about, right? That person who kind of nudges you, right? You get that little nudge. Hey, babe, you were writing that book.
I talked about that when you were gone. Yep.
Right. So I'm just doing confirmation. Where you at with that? You know what I mean? Where we at with that? You need help? You need help with something? What can I do to help you? You know what I mean? Like they're determined not to see you fail, right? And they're not going to let you come out of your mouth with something that you feel passionate about and let you just let it go.
Let it go. Nope.
They hold
it
you.
Is the great revealer of
right.
Your truth.
They hold you to a completely different standard, and there's no. Oh, gosh.
But your standard is your standard. You said that you wanted to do it, and now you're procrastinating. So they're like, I'm going to remind you about the Christ inside of you that said that you are going to do this calling.
Right. and they're willing to get in the weeds with you to find out what's the why, what's the holdup.
Oh my God!
What's the holdup? What's going on?
Yeah, the story about getting in the well.
Right.
You know, when you go down, when you're down in the well, when you're in that situation, you don't know how to come out. You have people in your life who will just lean over the edge and say, hey, put your hand there, put your hand over there, step on that, press up, but they're not in the hole. Your partner is willing to jump in the hole with you and say, follow me. Put your hand here.
Right.
Put your hand here.
Right.
And together,
right.
Push my leg up.
Right.
Let me pull you up.
Right.
That's what marriage is.
Yeah.
Someone is willing to get in the hole with you and say, put your hand exactly on top of mine.
Yeah.
Put your foot on my foot. Let's go together.
Let's go.
Let me show you the way out. Because the wonderful thing about when you unite with someone from a place of true love, that they're gonna have expertise, or they're going to have familiarity with the areas where you fall short.
Yep.
That's how it is. That's how he works it. That's why the two are better than one.
Yeah.
They're going to have things in them that they've experienced that's going to allow them to journey with you. Like, here, no, babe, stop. Here, and let's get out of this thing together.
So let me ask you. Let's go into this other question, because we're at 9/11 right now. What do you think couples? We're not talking about couples. We're talking about you and I. Give me 2 things you would do to keep the romance alive in your marriage once you get married.
Date nights. Date nights. You know, that makes me think of where God talks about, give me all your heavy burdens, the things that weigh you down, and allow me to give you rest. Give you rest. In relationships, you could be so busy grinding that you don't give yourself rest. You think that you have riches and success based off of the work that you put out, and you forget that God is the provider of all things good. And when you are in a relationship, the romantic thing you do, you give yourself rest. You shut things off. You put that phone down. You allow a segment of your time, if not a week in your month, take a sabbatical and get rest. Rest is you trusting God to take care of your business while you take care of your home.
Right.
So date night is rest. It's being able to remind the person that you're with that I see you. And because I see you, my life matters more.
Right.
My life matters more because I see you. To the world around me, I am more effective because I see you.
Exactly.
And I allow you to help me in areas, and I can share the hurts of my past.
Yeah.
And not feel less of a man for it. So that's 1, date night. 2, sex. Make time for sex. They say typically there are 3 things that wreck a marriage: lack of communications, poor money management, and sex. That's it. And out of those 3, what do you think is the top one? Poor money management is, at this time right now.
Yep.
Poor money management is causing more divorces than any other thing. Not even like the communication. You think, oh, it's communication. No. Poor money management have caused more breakups, more divorces right now in this stage in time because of the love of money. That love of money.
Because there's a different level of stress.
Yeah, definitely. But
a different level of stress when you can't.
Date night, which may lead to, of course, sex.
Money's not coming right. Yep.
That's it. You know, like, when I was looking at, my credit score, and I'm all bubbly, I'm, 797. All right. 797 is my credit score. And then I sold my house, because you can see it's a different background. I sold my house. Right. My credit score dropped over like 100 points. I'm like, what is that? What is this? What is this? I had to ask for help. Why did my credit score? I'm paying everything on time.
Right.
So money's a big deal, and having a high credit score and all that stuff, walking with this type of attitude that you value, you are treasuring that which God has given you. And that's what it is when you think about romance, is treasuring what God has given you. Don't take it for granted. Don't underappreciate. Make time for it. Make time. So sex is a big deal. And date night. Being able to do, whether it's taking trips or local things or just taking time off. Hey, guys, hold the kids, whatever the case may be. Date night and sex is super duper important in relationships.
Cool. I would concur. I would concur, but I would also add that there needs to be there's this thing that a therapist does. This therapist that when I was first going through my problems with my marriage, he would have his clients do, right. I talked to him a couple of times. He suggested every day, right, for 15 minutes a day, morning, night, afternoon, right? You two get together and just talk about you. Don't talk about the kids. Don't talk about the house. Talk about you two. That creates a level of intimacy, right? That when you're on date night, you're about, the phone is not in your hands because you're being intimate with, you understand the space you need to be in. When you do have sex, now you're more intimate with each other because you know what's going on with each other. You're having those intimate moments. That's one of the things that I loved about what he suggested, how to keep the romance and everything going. He says, because life gets so busy, right, that a couple misses finding out who they are, talking about who they are during the day, making time for each other. So he said at least 15 minutes a day, once or twice a day, morning and afternoon. Make sure you connect with each other to find out exactly what's going on with each other. That just talk to each other. Don't
guess
talk
what
about
guess what you're doing right now. You're confirming what I talked about while you were away. I talked about imagine. That's why I'm sitting here all jittery. Imagine having a prayer partner where every day you talk about what you're about to take on in the given day.
That's a whole new deeper-ish thing. That right there, that goes beyond, right? Because if you wake up, like if you come to bed and your wife is praying over you, right? Or you wake up in the middle of the night, right? And she's in her prayer closet and she's interceding for you. Listen, all you people out there that think you got your partner's back, if you ain't praying for them, you don't have your partner's back.
Nope.
Because you can't do it by yourself. So if you're chanting and you're all that other stuff that you're doing and all of that, if you're not doing that over your partner, you're not giving what they need. You're not interceding for them. That's a covering.
But like for those who can't think that far in advance, just simply, let's keep it layman. Every day at a point in the day, you're going to take time out to spell out your day to your partner and have your partner know what you plan on going after, achieving, and doing in that particular day. Every day, even if say you want to set it up for Monday through Friday, you take off Saturday and Sunday, but you say Monday through Friday, and then every day, you're going to end that conversation with praying about the things that you plan on taking on. That alone will allow that day to run so much smoother. You'll get check-ins, you'll get rejoices, you'll get opportunity to say, hey, babe, I didn't do that. Remind me to do it tomorrow. You got a partner.
Or, right? When you fail, when it fails, you have somebody to come and say, okay, I know you normally need time to recharge, but let's kind of wrestle with this real quick. What happened? What did we do? So that's not really a failure. Let's now look at it from this angle, right?
Either I win or you learn.
Right. So when you have a partner that can see the blind spots, oh, I know where you missed that at. Or you can say to yourself, and what I think that the men that are listening to this, and I think it's very, very important, we have to learn to listen. We have to learn to listen. We have to really learn to shut up and listen. And ask the question, do you need help with this?
And not see yourself as less if you get help.
Right. Do you know how powerful that question is? If somebody, if your mate is pouring out to you, and you listen and you stop for a second. Hey, do you need? Is this something we need to? You need help with this? A solution? No, I just wanted to vent. Okay, cool. Because we start, formulating. How do I fix it? How do I make it better? They're not there for that. They just there to vent. They might have the whole plan already planned out of what they're gonna do.
Yeah, it's even when you flip it to the woman side of things, and that's not all women, but the majority of women, right, where a woman is going through a situation, she just wants to vent.
That's what I said.
I'm not. Don't put on no fix-it hat and come with me with answers. I'm not trying to hear all that. I just want you to hear what's on my mind, and you know what you could say. Wow, babe. That's amazing. The person that you are to take on that situation. Wow. Amazing. Because I remember when you did that particular thing, that was awesome. So you dealing with that? How can I help?
Right.
I'm already helping.
I don't need help. I don't need it. I don't need help. I already got it planned out. I just needed to unload it.
Oh, just need to offload.
Need to unload it. Right.
That's it.
So
amazing.
that listening thing, and it goes for women too, right? And what we don't like to talk about women on the show that much, but I got to put this in there. Stop assuming you know what he's going to do. Stop assuming that you know what his next move is going to be. Right? Because sometimes we get so caught up in patterns that we miss what he needs because we think that he's going to do this or this is what he's thinking. Right? I've had conversations when I'll say, yeah, I thought about doing X, Y, Z. No, you didn't. That's because you don't think that way. What are you talking about? I can't change. I can't have I couldn't read this new book I'm reading. Couldn't have told me a new way to think.
Yeah.
Like how are you denying me that?
I recently had that conversation. Somebody telling me that's how I handle. I'm like, no, that was, how far I learned past that situation.
Right.
I learned past that situation because of this happened and that happened and that it was no benefit in doing that. So I let that stuff go because it wasn't.
Yeah. So we both have to, like we talked about, the communication piece is so vitally important because we don't do it. We don't really listen. We listen with the opportunity to respond instead of just being a part of the conversation and just sitting back and listening to what the person wants and looking for. Here's a heavy one. Here's a heavy one. What do you fear in marriage? What's your fear?
Ooh, fear in marriage.
Right. What's your fear?
What comes to mind first probably is not being loved back.
Wow.
Not with the same passion, but a familiar level of energy and passion and commitment that I love another person. I think if it comes to fear, it's my friends who know me well will say, you've been in these relationships and for me it's amazing to see how you're willing to jump 2 feet in without a lifeboat once again to the next one. Because I would always say that the new person doesn't deserve the beat up from the old one. But the truth is when I'm real true, honest with myself, I still carry some of the hurts into my new relationship. I carry some of my last disappointments. I carry some of that stuff. And yes, I'm super bubbly. I'm super bubbly. I love to love. I love to travel. I love to go eat. And I love to do all these things. But in the more intimate side of things, it's that fear of not being cared for when I'm giving my all to something.
Wow.
That's a fear.
Yeah, that's real. That's real.
How about you? And I'm sure there's another thing in there.
Yeah. My fear is not seeing when things are wrong. Right? Not seeing when things are wrong, when things go awry. Become so engrossed in how I'm feeling, right? That I miss what she's feeling, right? I should sense that, and not sensing that as a problem, right? Because when the two flesh become one, there's a synergy that's there that words don't have to be said that there's a problem.
Right.
And
but that's why you talk about the threefold cord is not easily broken.
Right.
What's your guarantee? I may not be able to trust the woman that I start to date, but I can trust that God is going to point out to me about the things that are not right for me in the woman I'm trying to date.
Right.
To make aware. See, when we say that you're wondering, will I miss? No, if you're staying close to God, you're never gonna miss. You're never gonna miss.
You can.
No. Because your miss is what? You misunderstanding something that he's leading you towards, you kind of going your own way in bits and pieces of it as you pursue a particular thing. But when your heart and you're near to him, he'll use all that stuff like, oh, but this is what it revealed. And if this is revealed, this is the bit that you needed to understand in order for you to move forward with that person.
So not to make this a back and forth.
Oh, please.
There was no one more closer than God than Adam. And Adam missed. Adam missed completely.
Because once again, because what? He once again stepped out and went on his own way. There's all those trees in the garden, except one he could eat from. One.
Right, but
one.
But what I'm saying is, here's what I'm saying, right?
But remember, he hit himself afterwards. So
right, but let's deal with the incident, right? The incident, he knew God came down in the cool of the day. He understood that, right? So he got the revelation of what not to eat, right? But he stood by and watched this thing that he loved be talked into doing something that God told him not to do. He wasn't outside of he was too busy focused on her at
he removed himself. He removed himself from the closeness that he had with God. He removed himself from it. See, God will never move. He's right there, ready to keep you under that hedge of protection. It's we who move.
Right. So I see what you're trying to say. I hear you. I hear you clearly. But I believe this is Tony's belief that we because we are of a sinful nature, right?
Yes. Amen.
There's things that we do, right? I could be fresh out of praying. Holy anointed spirit over me and everything. Jump in my car. 3 minutes later, I'm cursing somebody out because they cut me off.
That's it.
That didn't separate me from God.
I didn't say that you're separated. See, no. Like our levels where there's nothing that can separate us from the love of God. There's nothing. There's nothing we can do once we're tied in. The question is, do we go our own way in these moments? When we go our own way, we're removing ourselves from the closest of God.
See, I think we're talking about two different things. You're talking about somebody being wayward, and I'm talking about somebody just being in their flesh. Right, for that moment,
I'm not talking some long-lasting wayward. I'm talking absolutely. You just said praying in the spirit, and the next thing you know, you seeing something on video. You're like, "Oh my God, check out this chick," and blah 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 blah. Just a matter of seconds later, that's you forgetting the tie and the power and the abundance that comes with staying under that hedge of protection by going his way, by thinking his ways. You know, his thoughts are higher than our thoughts, but he is giving you that written word that allows you to say that this is what's best for your life. So I'm not talking some wayward and traveling down that road. No, that's you right here, right now. The next minute, you have gone your own way. Just in the thought. I mean, just in your thought. It doesn't even have to be a full action, doesn't even have to be a full spoken word, but I think we're both saying the same thing. I think we're both saying the same thing is that, yeah, there are going to be times when you're super close to God, and yes, we're going to still be making bad decisions.
Right. Because
But
David,
the bad decisions will be simply knowing that there's a better way to go, and we chose not to go the better way. That's all I'm trying to say.
okay, I hear I hear you. Like I hear what you're saying. I just think that for me,
Go for it.
the level that you're looking at for me is difficult as a human being because I'm human. So when that curse comes out of my mouth, right, I hear it and go, God, where did that come from? Forgive me. That's 2 seconds. You know what I mean? So that humanness does that thing.
Right.
And I think, and what I'm trying to say, I think in our humanity, even though we're close to God, we miss things in our partners, right? Because our partners are human, right?
Yes.
And our partners don't speak. They don't speak sometimes, right? I want to be on a level that I can see that there's troubling. Even though there's a smile, I can see in that smile there's a little trouble there.
Amen.
You know what I mean? Because if I'm able to navigate that, you know, then there won't be a long-term problem of resentment there. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm talking about. So,
but I love that because
I see we're at the landing mark.
Yeah. But I wanted to end it with this because I definitely see what you're talking about because I can remember when I'm pouring myself out towards someone and then they point out what I wasn't doing right, even though I was pouring out my all. Right. I'm like, so I understand. I'm just saying, I bring that up to say that I know what you're saying. I definitely know what you're saying.
Okay, good. Yeah. Cool.
All right. So where do we go from here? You want to close this out, T. Watts?
Well, I'd close this out. I'd land here that above all things, marriage is work. It's serious work. You can't just you can't go into it thinking that it's going to be your way, right? It's always going to be rosy. It's not. It is work because you have two flawed human beings trying some way to make perfection. And perfection is a stop. It's a quick destination. And then there's another perfection somewhere else. Like you can't stay right there. You got to continue to move on. And perfection means you, like when somebody gets the perfect score in something, right? That's because they had their knees scraped up. They had to wrap up their feet and their hands. They went home and had to soak in the tub for hours because it's all of that exercise in the middle, right, to get to that perfect spot. And that's what we have to understand about marriage and these relationships is there are beautiful moments in there, but there's also the dirt. There's also the muck and the mire. There's also the pigsty. And you have to be able to walk through that stuff and champion with your partner if they're in the mud alone. Sometimes you could be the cleanest thing in the world. You got to go get down in the mud to make sure they're okay to bring them out. I just want to leave that there. Marriage is work. But when you work it right, there's no better thing in the world.
All right. Well, guys, the Real Shop Talk every Monday night. You can tell me where they can connect with you on Instagram.
Just hit me up at I am Tony A. Watts. I am Tony A. Watts on Instagram. I am Tony A. Watts on TikTok. I am Tony A. Watts on Twitter. I've been jumping in and out of Twitter acting retarded. So if you want to see what goes on through during my day, Twitter is it. Twitter is where it happens. I say some really off the cuff craziness, however I feel, So
awesome.
So that's the best place to do it.
Done. Well, I am Gunter Man. You guys can find me at Rick Holman Gunter Jr. on Instagram, All Access Rick. And of course, you can just hit me up at iamgunterman.org. That's my website. You can link in. And of course, follow me. I'm a relationship life coach, and I can journey with you, of course, through all these things. Lord knows, because I'm still progressing through these things myself. So it's a wonderful journey to be.
Hey, did you do this? Did you congratulate our friends on their anniversary?
Oh no, I didn't. But I did. I didn't talk about Derrick Jones. I didn't get to the details of Derrick Jones. So please, yes.
Yes, yes.
Was it
Derrick
12
and his
years?
wife, happy anniversary. We love you guys. You know, you are an inspiration. You guys do a remarkable job on showing us how this walk should be done, and we deeply appreciate you. Love you.
Yeah. And since we're talking about love, remember Derrick Jones has started an academy.
Yes.
The Relationship Gumbo Love Academy. The Relationship Gumbo Love Academy. So you can look them up, and I believe it's myrelationshipgumbo.com. Myrelationshipgumbo.com. Check them out. True brother, a genuine brother, a guy that you will love to have in your corner.
Yes.
When you're taking on situations.
Yes.
All right, guys. Have a wonderful night. Guys, all our comment people, thank you.
Oh, one more thing. John's thing on Sunday. I forgot the actual name of it. John does the show with the 5 guys on Sunday.
No, I don't know. I just know him by the Help Myself podcast.
All right, so just go to Help Myself podcast and you'll find the other one. It's
I'm seeing some comments here.
Gentlemen. Huh?
I'm seeing some comments here, but I guess we'll talk back. Guys, hit us up on a private link if you want to share your thoughts, and we'll continue this conversation offline. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. Real Shop Talk. Good night, everybody. Peace.
Good night.
Like and subscribe.
And bring your +5.